Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the WTF1 Podcast, Mexico Grand Prix edition. And, well, we have two of the biggest personalities in not just Formula One, the world. It is Tom Bellingham, who founded WTF1 from his university bedroom. What a hero. Without him, neither me or Katie would exist. And Katie, the WTF1 editor and sole producer of the WTF1 Annual. Congratulations, Katie. How excited are you to be an author of your own book? Are you technically an author now? Is that what happens?
I don't know. I'm going to call you an author now.
Don't do that.
Tommy's the founder and Katie's the author.
WTF1 the author. Katie, that's becoming a thing. 100%.
Now, at least to the end of the year, that
podcast.
is sticking now. So well done, Katie, on the annual stuff. But before we start, let's talk about the WTF1 Annual, which we've just released. Katie, you are working very hard to get that all done. Our first ever physical book, WTF1 Hitting the Physical Stuff, which is new and exciting for us. It's a great gift for Christmas, but if you need to, you do need to pre-order, as there are only a limited number of copies. Visit WTF1.com/annual or the link in the description to get yours. If you're Team WTF1, like the people watching as well, you get an exclusive discount too. So welcome to the live Team WTF1 members right here for this podcast as well. If you want to get involved, WTF1.com/Team WTF1. Right, that's enough links. Let's get into some 3-word race reviews. Matt Cerny Official says, Checo. Lungu.Alexander, time for tequila. And Micah_Angelo_ Max sent it. A lot of Checo chanting, not just from Max, but the entirety of the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez yesterday. Lots of vibes. If you had just tuned in, you would have thought Checo had won at the end of the race, let's be honest with you. But the atmosphere was a serious vibe, up there with Zandvoort, and especially with the way that the track is built, probably better atmosphere than Zandvoort. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest race for action, but amazing atmosphere. And totally agree. If you'd kind of watched the pictures as you came on, if you'd have just like switched on at the end of the race or even just seen the pictures afterwards, sort of Checo being lifted by his Red Bull crew as he's waving the Mexican flag, it's like he'd won the championship. But it is obviously an incredible moment that he's the first ever Mexican driver to be on the podium in Mexico, which is a very cool thing.
I'm going to channel as much enthusiasm and excitement as Sergio Perez's dad after the celebrations in this podcast today, because he is now my new favorite human being. Like, what a legend. He's got so much energy. And like you say, they were celebrating as if he had won the race. It was brilliant. So lots of serotonin for Sunday evening yesterday.
Lots of happy chemicals in the brains of a lot of people. Let's go with my 3-word race review. Let's dive straight in, shall we? I've gone for Drivers' Championship Inbound. Now, Tommy didn't want me to write this. He, in fact, said, no, as soon as I said it, don't write that. And I insisted, because it's looking more and more likely like Max is taking baby steps towards his first ever world championship. You can see Tommy starting to bounce up and down now, as you can see the nervous energy starting to get through his leg like Christian Horner.
The Christian Horner,
yeah, exactly. And obviously with the Max cape, which is actually starting to levitate now that you're thinking about it. So, yeah, I mean, it just seems more and more likely, and that Verstappen is genuinely looking like, well, he is the favourite. Of course he is. Red Bull seem to have got a great package as well. They absolutely, I was going to say dominated. They didn't dominate the whole weekend, but they smashed the race. And I think Toto even came out and said they could have driven circles around them, even if they hadn't been ahead after turn 1, lap 1. So yeah, it's looking very likely. I personally want to see Max win this title, because it would be amazing to have a new champion. I would like it.
Nothing to do with that Schumacher picture in the background.
Yeah. Just close that.
Obviously, a little bit that as well. But people seem to misunderstand when I say that I want it to be a close championship fight, that I want Lewis to win, when in fact I would love for Max to win. And I think both of them deserve it, although Max probably slightly more with a bit of the bad luck that he's had this year. So, yeah, I'm hoping it half jinxes it, so at least we get a finale. You know, that would be nice, because I think after all of this, we deserve one. But I know a lot of Max fans don't want a finale and they want it over ASAP. Is that right, Tommy?
Yeah, I think a lot of people's nerves wouldn't be able to take it going into the last race, would they? So you can't praise him enough really for that. He's been I wouldn't say completely faultless, but very little mistakes. I mean, the mistakes that he's made, especially at the start of the year when the questions were more things like, can Max Verstappen win the title? And the sort of narrative was like, oh, maybe he's not ready because he's literally like running wide slightly on a qualifying lap. And it's like, if that's the only real major mistakes you're doing in the year, you're doing pretty well. And I think regardless of how the championship goes, I mean, Max has just shown unbelievable talent. And I literally just can't get over how chilled he is when he's going up against essentially Lewis Hamilton in his prime, the pressure of it being his first ever world title. And he just doesn't seem to follow that sort of narrative where you're meant to be under a lot of pressure, and Formula One's a really high pressure environment. You're meant to make loads of mistakes, and that hasn't seemed to happen. Like the last couple of races, it's just been flawless.
It really has. Like speaking, not me personally speaking to Max, but listening to other media speak to Max week in, week out, he's just cool as a cucumber. He's like, I'm taking each race as it comes. You know, I'll start to not take it seriously, but like be maybe a bit more nervous and realize quite what's at stake when it's Abu Dhabi, if it goes down to the wire. But yeah, he did a phenomenal job yesterday, got one of the best starts that we've seen so far this season. And I'm sure we'll go into that in a little bit. But yeah, he's got a 19-point now lead to Hamilton. I know it's very much sitting on the fence, but I'd be happy for both drivers to win a championship. I think they've both done brilliant jobs this year. I think you could argue, and it sounds absolutely obscene saying this, but Hamilton has made more mistakes this year than Verstappen, which doesn't sound like a sentence that should even be said because, like you say, it's a 7-time world champion. But there's positives to both. Obviously, Verstappen winning his first championship. It would be really nice to have that change come in. And I feel like it might be the cherry on top of this unbelievable season that we've had, is crowning a new champion. I feel like that's quite a fitting thing. But at the same time, Hamilton becoming the best ever in terms of championship wins also has a really nice narrative to it. So I'm happy with either. But I know you two have your
incredible balancing of the fence.
Well, don't forget, I'm meant to be a journalist, so I can't be like, yes, 100% Max win or whatever. But from a personal side as well, I think I would be happy with either of them winning. And I also like to sit on fences.
How does that fence, how comfortable is it? Anyway, at Cannon790, while Verstappen's late breaking into turn one was brave, bold, beautiful, etc., does it show that he is still all or nothing and will refuse to ever play the percentage game, even if it costs him significantly? It's a good point. One that we can dive into about that whole first corner, first lap shenanigans that went on. I think the first thing is that Bottas allowed that to happen, which was surprising that was something that wasn't discussed beforehand, that Bottas would maintain the racing line going down towards turn one, considering how dusty it was and they needed every bit of advantage they could possibly get, which on the racing line, you can break a little bit later. It's a bit cleaner. So that was interesting from Bottas that he went in the middle of in the middle. Oh no, technically. So how was Hamilton ahead? Hamilton was side by side. Wasn't
he managed to give Verstappen a toe and then move in front of Hamilton when it didn't matter to give Verstappen a space. It's almost like it couldn't have gone any worse.
You would think that he'd actually gone through this.
If he was Perez, it would have been incredible. Like you would have been like, what a team player, Perez. That's genius. Like, you've given him a toe, you've moved out the way. And like you say, that's the kind of thing that you kind of almost expected to happen. But I mean, it's pretty clear Bottas does not give two Fs.
No, no. I think that's. I think he gives a slight F, but because Mercedes did, give him the opportunity.
And I think Bottas said that he thought he genuinely could have a possibility to win that race. He's not just going to like wave Verstappen by if he thinks he has a chance of getting some really good points for himself. But yeah, it was a bit of a silly move, comparing it to like how we saw at the start of the 2019 race, where Hamilton got so squeezed out coming from third, squeezed by Vettel coming over to the left. That's kind of what Bottas needed to do, but instead he rolled out a red carpet. It's like, come down the cleanest part of the track. I'll leave the door wide open for you. And then Verstappen doing his late braking, as this Cannon mentioned. And it was sort of just one from there, I think, to be honest.
Yeah, let's roll back to the actual question at hand. Sorry, Bottas. It is true, because I think Max put himself in a very dangerous position at the outside of turn one, where they were 3 wide, basically going down towards turn one. If Danny Rick's mistake was done by Hamilton, for example, or Bottas, then it would have been maybe curtains for Max Verstappen. I apologize if I sound very coldy, by the way. My nose just continues to block up randomly. But yeah, it's obviously he's gone for it. And I think Max is always going to be like that. You know, which is what Cannon kind of suggested, is that is his style. And it works out for him sometimes and it doesn't work out in other times. But I feel like this season it's probably worked out more than it hasn't. And therefore his style has kind of played to that. It's given him an advantage this year. So I'm not surprised at all that Max went for it. I mean, the percentage play in some ways, what else could he have really done in that situation? He's 3 wide going down towards turn one. If he relinquishes the corner, he may well relinquish a couple more positions on the inside behind Bottas and Hamilton. And obviously Ricciardo locked up and that wouldn't have happened. But if Ricciardo didn't do that, perhaps he would have been down 4th, 5th place. So Max went for it. He judged it absolutely perfectly. And it could well be something that we look back on and go, that's where he won the championship in a few races' time.
Yeah, the move was like so good that it almost made an absolute send look really controlled and quite easy. Because initially I was kind of like, you get into that initial braking zone and you obviously saw like Daniel Ricciardo locked up and stuff. Max didn't even lock up, but you'd watch him going in and you're like, is he making that corner? Is he just going to, do what we thought Alonso might do and absolutely send it over the grass and just then worry about it later? But he made the corner superbly well. And I don't know how he made that just look so simple. But like you say, there's always a risk at the start going around the outside. But you could argue, like you kind of alluded to, I don't want to go too much into Bottas again because we're going into that later, but Bottas braked quite early and that was actually the downfall that he ended up getting punted a little bit. Obviously it was Ricciardo's fault, but it's that thing where, like you say, Max might not have sent it, but then if he's backing off, everyone's going down the inside, he could lose loads of positions and then his whole race is compromised. So these things look amazing when they work and they look stupid when they don't. But it looked very, very good.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've always seen Max be quite aggressive with how he is as a driver. The thing that's changed since he joined F1 in 2016, I think it was, is that he's just got more experience now, so he can manage that risk that he takes with aggressive driving a bit more. But thinking about it, like off the top of my head, for Verstappen, it was probably quite a smart move by going around and ending up on that left-hand side of everything, because like you say, if SHIT hit the fan, then he could just veer That's
not to cover from children, by the way. That's to cover from demonetization. Thank you, Katie. Carry on.
No worries. That he could, worst come to worst, swerve onto that grass. Obviously, you don't want your Red Bull to be a lawnmower in that situation, but the FIA did say beforehand that they'd be a bit more lenient in lap 1 and if there was a restart with track limits at that turn 1. So, if something had happened and Bottas and Hamilton and Perez and all that sort of stuff got caught up together, he could just go over the grass past the bollard and escape it all. But yeah, he didn't need to do that because he absolutely aced it. As they said, brave, bold and beautiful, and wonderful alliteration.
Lovely stuff. So next question from Neutral F1 Fanboy. Sorry, I thought Tommy had something else to add. That's why I paused for a second.
Oh, okay. Just a moment of reflection. It's fine.
I was just like, wow, that was great alliteration. Next question. Neutral F1 Fanboy. Do you think Hamilton still has a chance in the Drivers' Championship? Oh, I love this question so much. Do you think Hamilton still has a chance in the Drivers' Championship, given his recent performances and the growing point gap? Yes.
Do you think a 7-time world champion in Mercedes could still win the world championship?
I know that what I said is that Drivers' Championship inbound. Don't take that too literally. It is looking like Max definitely is the favourite, but that 19-point gap can be diminished in one race and some. So yes, he absolutely can. I think Brazil will be another difficult challenge for them because that's, again, like 800 meters above sea level. There's some elements of altitude, not as much as Mexico, which was over 2,200. But I still think maybe it'll play into Red Bull's hands a little bit as well. We'll see. The form book has very much gone out the window this year, so we don't really know. We've got 2 brand new tracks. We have no idea how any of the cars are going to go. And yeah, well, I mean, one of the tracks may not even be finished. We'll see that. Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting one. Hamilton absolutely can win this championship. Hamilton was ahead at one point, and everyone was putting Red Bull in the bin around, I don't know, round 6, whatever it was. So just unless it's 75-point gap with 3 races to go, there's still a chance.
100%. Literally, my notes for this question, nothing is impossible, and he is a 7-time champion for a reason. And I think that pretty much summarizes my answer nicely.
And Vettel, for example, in 2010 did not lead the championship until the final race. The whole season did not lead the championship.
No, and he was a massive way behind going into his final 2 races. And look, what you kind of alluded to it as well. Like, I know you're saying Brazil is one of the tracks where Red Bull are suited, but also it's Brazil and it's had its fair share of drama and
sprint quali as well, just to throw in
sprint quali and rain, and anything can happen. And I think people are getting a bit carried away, exactly like Austria, that you come on the back of a race where Max is leading the title and then dominantly wins on a track that he was always going to win at anyway, Mexico. Exactly like Austria, everyone said the same thing, and within 2 races Hamilton's right back in the title. So it's not over. One interesting stat that I did see though in one of the videos that the race did is they said that if Max wins in Brazil, we could have a 2016 situation where all he has to do is finish second in every race for the rest of the season, which could be very big. So it's all to play for, and that's the thing. Like, the later it gets, the more Hamilton can risk. And while we've spoken about Max not buckling under the pressure, he will have to start thinking maybe more about just finishing and getting the championship points, where Hamilton can go absolute full send into turn 1 and things like that, because he knows that that's what he's got to do. So it's definitely not over. Have you been watching this season? Have you been watching Hamilton's career?
We know that Hamilton will go the extra mile if he is, against all odds. Like, remember Abu Dhabi when Rosberg won the championship? He was practically getting out and pushing that Mercedes round to back Rosberg into the 3rd and 4th. So Hamilton will do everything he can within the rule book 100% to make this.
I wonder if part of this has come from the previous few years where Hamilton has won it, obviously not easily, but he hasn't had the level of competition that he saw in 2016 or this year with Max. And people maybe just think, all Hamilton is good at is being in a fast car and sitting around and going around in circles, when actually, like, he is a phenomenal racer when it comes to it. Like, look at Turkey last year, started out obviously not at the front of the grid, fought his way through, and that still remains one of Hamilton's best ever races, in my opinion. Like, the guy's not just a person who will put it on pole and then just tootle around the track and do his own thing, which I wonder if that's something that's come into it. I don't know, but
it's also mad that I guess there's a lot of people that have come in from that are maybe watching the sport from, Drive to Survive and have come watching recent years who have never had the experience of a title fight. We've obviously been lucky. And to me, it's almost crazy to think that, like, some people have been watching even like 4 or 5 years now and I've never seen a proper title fight. But this is it now. Like, they didn't see like 2016, like you say, when it was going down to the wire, even 2014 and 2012 and all this kind of stuff. So there's more drama to come. There's no doubt about it. The way the season's going, you just can't predict it.
Oh, absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. People asking if it's over. Have they been watching this season?
It's literally like the James Franco first time. Me.
Yeah.
We interrupt this WTF1 podcast. A very quick chat about one of our sponsors for this episode, LinkedIn Talent Solutions. Today, many small business owners are busier than ever. Time spent searching for and interviewing candidates can take time away from managing and growing a business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs has made it easier to get to the candidates worth interviewing faster, and it's free. You can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network with over 30 million people in the UK. Focus on candidates with the skills and experience you need. Use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified people. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates worth interviewing faster, and you can post a job for free. Just visit linkedin.com/WTF1. Again, that's linkedin.com/WTF1 to post a job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Right, let's get back to the podcast. Katie, awesome. Whilst you're on the mic, hit us with your 3-word race review.
Well, my 3-word race review can only be about one person, and that is Sergio Perez. And my 3-word race review, yeah, literally, best dad ever? Question mark. No, mine is perfect home podium. And I know that people probably say, well, he could have got P2, and yes, we'll go into that in a minute. But Sergio Perez got a podium at his home race and provided us with some of the most wholesome podium celebrations ever. I'm really pleased that he managed to make his way up to there. Obviously, he's never got a podium at his home race. He becomes the first Mexican to get a podium at his home race. And I just really like these lovely F1 moments that we're getting this season. And well done, Checo. There you go. Bye.
Well done, Checo. Bye. That's what a lovely synopsis from Katie there. But yeah, it was amazing, wasn't it? Sorry, Tommy.
No, go on, you go.
I was just going to say, it was, the whole atmosphere was amazing. It's incredible to think that, Sergio getting P3, which he's done before. He's won races before, and yet P3 at Mexico was like the absolute bee's knees. And it could have easily been second place as well had he managed to get past Lewis, but that last sector is absolutely disgusting. But generally speaking, Sergio's never usually been that good around Mexico, but I'd say he was, pretty on form. I've still got a blocked nose. It's really difficult to talk. I'm trying so hard. Sorry, Katie.
While you clear your nose, we'll say that, I put a tweet out last night saying this time last year, we didn't even know if Sergio Perez had a race seat for 2021. He was talking about going for a sabbatical. He had that really weird press conference. Everybody just assumed he was going to be announcing either his retirement or a sabbatical. And then he's been snapped up by Red Bull. I know he's had a bit of a wobbly 2021 so far, some highs, some quite low lows, but he seems to be getting comfortable with that Red Bull now. I'm sure that's probably just going to jinx the rest of his season. But yeah, I still think that signing of Sergio Perez is one of the best decisions Red Bull has made in its F1. I'm in F1, and yeah.
with the the podium celebrations as well, like you say, it was similar to the way that COTA was the perfect storm of this amazing American fan base and people coming to the race. You had this perfect storm for Mexico that they'd missed a race for a year. Like you say, this time last year, we didn't even know if Sergio Perez would even be in Formula One, and the atmosphere had been very different if he wasn't. But now he's come to this race with, he's in a top team. He's a race winner now and had a genuine chance of, getting on the podium, which he did. And I know we've kind of already mentioned it, but the thing with Perez's dad, I saw a comment on IBR that was talking about how the sacrifices that Perez would have had to make, and it's very different to not that it's not difficult for Europeans, but for a young kid to basically leave their whole world behind and go to Europe and try this dream. And I just thought it was so wholesome that his dad must have just been thinking, no wonder he was so happy, because he must have been thinking this whole thing is because of my son. There's no way that that Mexican Grand Prix would probably even be on the calendar without Perez. Never mind how amazing the celebrations are and stuff. And no wonder he was so unbelievably proud, because it's that whole race is essentially Sergio Perez's, because of what he is in Mexico. So yeah, that was so cool. And it was actually really funny as well that you saw like pictures of Perez's dad that seemed to have just like adopted Max as his son as well with his arm like around the It was great. Those scenes were amazing.
Such an awesome scene, and he was very much almost the center of attention a lot of the time in the Sky broadcast as well, where you'd see just him with the flag out, absolutely buzzing. It was quite funny as well when they spoke to him after the race, just as they were closing the show, and it was so funny how he consistently kept reminding people that he won a car championship around the same track. And he was like, "Yeah, I won this championship, and it makes me still feel so proud to have my son on the podium as well. But I also won this championship." And and he kept saying it. I was like, "All right, mate, chill out. This is Sergio."
Did you see him when he was like, "Oh, I'm so honoured to be here with the world champion," and sort of like patted Damon Hill, and Jenson Button was like, "I'm right here, mate."
I think Simon Lazenby was like, "World champions."
That's plural.
It's almost as bad as when I called Jenson Button a Sky presenter for a podcast, and he said, "Oh, I'm not a world champion." Then I was like, "Oh, sorry, didn't mean that."
Great start.
He now hates me. Lovely. But it was amazing scenes. I really wanted Sergio to get on the podium. As much as some people think I'm a pretty harsh critic of him, and at times he has deserved it, but I think that his pace was very much there this weekend. It's exactly what Red Bull wanted from him when they signed him. He's not going to be on Max's pace, but he was there to challenge Hamilton. So he did everything that I think he needed to do this weekend, and he got the podium that he very much deserved. And it would have been nice to have a Red Bull 1-2. I think the scenes would have been even crazier, but it was awesome. Next question. I was going to ask a question. It wasn't even a question that you've done. You've done the 3-word race review. L or I, not sure if that's an L or an I, XNRL. Do you think Red Bull will win the Constructors Championship now? I love it. I love these questions every single week without fail. It's just the team changes. It's just like, do you think Mercedes is going to win now? Do you think Red Bull will win the Constructors Championship now? No. I think it's going to be very close. It's 1 point in, isn't it? I still think Bottas will have a few good performances in him, especially knowing he's not going to be in that Mercedes ever again come the end of this season. I still think there's some good performances coming from Bottas. It really does depend on the form, because if Red Bull had the advantage they had in Mexico in the next 3 or 4 races, then it's a done deal for them. But I don't think they're going to have that pace advantage. So I still think Merc might well clinch it, but Verstappen for the title.
There was a moment, wasn't there, where, well, not even that long ago, where I was kind of like, there's absolutely no way Red Bull can win the Constructors title. And now, because of Bottas scoring no points, it's really closed it back up. And the fact that Perez has found this form, I think it's 3 podiums in a row now. I believe that's right, isn't it? Yeah. It just makes this like another title fight even more exciting. I know it's not as exciting as the drivers, but it's still something to fight for and look forward to. So if I had to predict, I'd maybe still go Mercedes way, but I think it's definitely not as easy as a decision as it was a few races ago. I was like, there's absolutely no chance, and now I'm like, they could do it if Perez's form is this good still.
So you reckon same as me though?
But I think if I had to predict, it's Mercedes. But I mean, it's literally like a 60-40.
Say the drivers as well. Come on, say it. I know you don't want to. Who's going to win the drivers?
Who's going to win the drivers?
Yeah, because I said Merc and Verstappen. I thought that you. I know you don't want to say it. Say it.
Verstappen.
Oh, he's going to blow up at Brazil now. Right,
stop! Yeah, I think, like you say, Bottas has had one bad race and everyone's like, oh, God, the Constructors' Championship is over. Red Bull have got this. But I think, we said this would be a Red Bull track and then Mercedes went 1-2 in quali. But Brazil is supposedly more of a Red Bull focused track, or suitable for them. Then we've got Qatar and Saudi, which nobody's really got any idea what the hell's going to happen there. And then Abu Dhabi, which is normally more of a Mercedes track. So it's difficult to predict who could take the Constructors' Championship, because we literally have 2 races that we have no idea how it's going to go. That's 50% of the races left. That's quick maths, that is, by the way.
Wow. Whoa. Okay, wow. Unbelievable.
So if I had to put my predictions down, I would say the same as you, Verstappen to win drivers, Mercedes to win constructors. But hey, this year has just proved that absolutely anything can happen.
So if we're all in unison and we all agree, we're all going to be wrong. That's
we're always wrong with our predictions. So congratulations, Lewis Hamilton and Red Bull.
Next question. Team WTF1 are done 0, who I believe is in the chat as well. Welcome. If there was another 5 laps, would Checo have passed Lewis? No, he didn't have the straight line speed, in my opinion. I felt like they missed an opportunity, Red Bull, when AWS came over the blower with their little graphic, and it said 0.2 chance. I think Perez was ahead of jumping Hamilton. And I think that was probably their best opportunity because Red Bull just didn't have the straight line speed to pass Hamilton down the straight. I think Perez did get as close as maybe 3/4 of a second behind and then opened DRS and gained maybe 0.2. And that was it. So obviously with Mexico in general, it's quite difficult to get a really good run. We saw Bottas stuck behind Ricciardo for 39 laps. So, and then more afterwards as well. So yeah, I don't think he would have won.
No, it's frustrating because on team radio, they said, Checo's going to be close to Lewis in the last couple of laps. And I was like, this is going to be really exciting. And then Checo just made up so much and closed the gap like way quicker than I thought any of us were expecting. So I was like, oh my goodness, this could actually happen. And then it was very much a game of not follow the leader, but follow Hamilton. And yeah, there didn't really look like there were many opportunities in those 10, 15 laps or whatever we had for Checo to make the pass. And I can't imagine another 5 laps would have added to things as much as I would have loved a Red Bull 1-2. I don't think he was getting past.
No, I think, I'm in the same agreement that Perez caught up really quickly. I think in hindsight, that chance where if they'd have pitted straight away because Hamilton came out behind Leclerc, so couldn't absolutely bolt with his fresh tyres, maybe that could have been it and it would have been close. But then I guess Perez's strength is saving the tyres going longer and then trying to catch up, which would have been great in theory if it wasn't Mexico. And to answer the question, no, I don't believe so. And I think there could have been 50 laps and you wouldn't be able to get past because the track is not very good for overtaking at all.
Hey, maybe next year, though, as we say with all the other rubbish tracks for overtaking, maybe next year with the 2022 cars and the new regs. Lovely. Can't wait.
That kind of leads me onto my review. Shall I go for it?
I thought you looked eager to carry on. Go on then, Tommy. 3-word race review.
Well, I'm on. Mine is stadium mixed feelings. I mean, this could also be track mixed feelings.
Or just general mixed feelings.
General mixed feelings. I appreciate this is the ultimate irony coming from someone that likes Monaco. But
that's true.
So I'm just going to cover.
Let me just sit back and enjoy.
I'm just going to cover that. I just thought I'd say that first because I know that's
stop me criticizing you.
Yeah, true. Every race at Mexico have the same thing of like the crowd are amazing. It's such an incredible atmosphere. It's so cool. And then for me, that stadium section, I put it on Twitter. It's the Barcelona chicane, but with an amazing atmosphere. It's one of those tracks where like you lose all the benefit of a really long straight because the stadium section just separates the cars. And it's not even just the stadium section, to be perfectly frank. Like 4, 5, and 6 as well is a clumsy, awful Tilke at his worst kind of section that, we saw 3. I think it was within like 4 laps, every single car's like got a 3-second gap apart between them because they just can't follow each other. And I absolutely love the whole vibe of Mexico. But for me, the circuit, if you put that circuit anywhere else, it's one of the worst circuit layouts in Formula One. But then on the flip side, they're thinking, I absolutely hate that, like the stadium section, it's awful. This is everything wrong with Formula One. Building a track around the kind of a building or something, a bit like Abu Dhabi, and then it gets to the end of the race and there's that part, and I'm like, God, the stadium section's awesome, isn't it?
Well, look, let's change the track right here, right now. Let's de-Tilkify it. Turns 2 and 3. Why is that so heavily left-right? Just make it a little chicane. Lovely. Then you have a run all the way down to turn 4. Get rid of that next left-hander. Just have a hairpin. Okay? Have a lovely little hairpin. Then the fans can still see the cars for a certain amount of time. Then if we really have to go through what is the worst sequence of left-rights, I think, on the F1 calendar, it's just awkward. I think me and you, Tommy, spoke about it in the watch-along. It just doesn't feel right. Then there's that where Sonoda went off. That left-right as well just seems really awkward and not very nice. Then you have that next down towards the next 90-degree right-hander. That's fine. That can stay because we're going into the stadium section. Then just make it a little swooper. Just a little sweepy swooper.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be
170-degree back on yourself rubbish.
Yeah, I imagine it's something to do with the cars having to be a certain speed through that section. But like you say...
Cover the whole stadium in like a Zorb football or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, why they need to go back on themselves. It's that little loop. I don't understand why, like you say, they can't just go sort of straight back to cut off that whole twisty bit in the section, and then they can follow each other, because just as you're about to sort of follow each other through that twisty bit, because you kind of can, because it's not a silly sector, you'll get a better run down the straight. And then totally agree. Into turn 4, any chance you've got of passing is almost negated by the fact that you've got a very quick chicane up straight away. And it's just, it's not
honestly,
great.
If you just gave us the blueprints, we could create the greatest F1 season for tracks. But actually, no, I say we, you would include Monaco, so maybe not. But yeah, no, that's interesting. Katie, do you agree with us, or do you think Mexico's just a great track?
I think it's the best track on the calendar. No. Did you see? Well, I'm sure he's paid a lot to be there. Jackie Stewart calling yesterday the best race of the season so far. I nearly fell off my chair.
Is that the first race he's watched this season?
Yeah, I was like, you all right, Jackie Hun? Okay. But I think it's probably because he's paid a lot by Heineken to be there, and obviously presented that cool award to Bottas for pole.
Or he'd been having too much Heineken during the race, and therefore.
Well,
so maybe. Jackie Stewart, or as Katie calls him, Jackie Hun.
Sir Jackie Hun, thank you. But I don't know, with track layouts, I'm not really an expert when it comes to saying what should go, what should stay. It's not really
neither
a part
are we,
of F1.
Katie, but we
say but you just explained it really well. Yeah, but I guess you guys play the F1 games and stuff like that, and know what you like and what you don't like.
Are you not a frequent F1 game player, Katie? Yeah.
I played it once in my life, and I made it to turn 1 in Monza, and then I never played it again.
And ended up upside down or something, didn't you? Which was impressive. So fair.
We'll have to film something in the winter break of me trying to learn how to play the F1 game.
Good how much time do we have?
Whole winter break. But yeah, the circuit doesn't provide great overtaking. They advertise it as something where plenty of overtakes can happen, but the reality is it's just a bit of a dead track. And like you say, atmosphere is excellent.
Oh, hello.
Oh, she's gone.
So the atmosphere is excellent, and Katie's now back. Say that again.
And then my internet cut out. I was going to say the atmosphere is excellent, but also, you've done a video on it. No, I haven't. Have I? I'm just pausing for thought. With the altitude affecting the cars so much, I don't know. It seems like there's an awful lot of things to go wrong for the cars mechanically, and all these drivers that. And nobody really spoke to any of the drivers about it, but obviously being in high altitude, it's going to mean that you've got less air to give you less energy for the races. So you're naturally fatigued easier. But for people like Hamilton, who has said before that he's suffering with long COVID, and other drivers on the grid that have had COVID, I wondered if they felt their energy had been affected with the high altitude. It's something that wasn't really talked about at all over the weekend. But
basically,
you've obviously tuned into the latest F101, Katie, that we put out today, where part of that was about the drivers, huh? Did you? No, you didn't. I bet you didn't. I
didn't, because I wrote an article about it on Thursday.
Oh yeah, you put out the thing, and I was like, wait, but Katie, I've just written a script about it. Sorry, Tommy, carry on.
So basically what we're saying is they need to dig a giant hole and then
go to the Earth's core, and then it might be good.
To Mexico.
Wow.
The sea level, even whatever.
Just the whole
science.
sea.
Just Anyway, no, that would be a lot of flooding. No, okay. Anyway, moving on to another question. Team WTF1, Sean Sutton. How long can we use the "but it's a great atmosphere" line in defensive circuits like Mexico City, where we haven't had great races before the line gets old? I don't think Mexico gets enough stick for being a rubbish racetrack, to be honest with you. But it won't have to go through anymore, because next year it's going to be a revolution, and we're going to have 20, however many, amazing races with the new regs. I think that we've pretty much covered that, though, haven't we, with the atmosphere? So moving on, at Reese C. Pascoe, after his lackluster defence of the lead on lap 1, which we have touched on, will there be any internal repercussions for Bottas? Wolf wasn't impressed after the race. The thing is, right, if you're leaving a job and you've handed in, or if you've been given your resignation letter, there's no need for internal repercussions because they're leaving anyway. So
I think what might happen is he goes to Alfa Romeo and George Russell replaces him. That's a bold prediction I'm going for.
Okay. What do you think next year?
Because of what he did in Mexico, yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. Interesting. Tommy dropping the bombshells today. But no, there's not going to be any internal repercussions. Bottas just does Bottas things and isn't very good at defending. We know that. And for whatever reason was like, Max, come through. I don't think that.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's not his... It's not Bottas like deliberately trying to put his middle finger up at Mercedes because they got rid of him, even though Toto claims they didn't get rid of him. But, you know, he's never been good in wheel-to-wheel racing. It's his biggest weakness. It always has been. And I thought he'd immediately tow Hamilton, but he was just doing his own thing. Didn't do it particularly well. But while, you know, he's a very quick driver, that's the side to his game that he doesn't really have. You know, we saw it in Sochi where Max Verstappen just so easily passed him at Sochi, and everyone's like, well, you know, people thought he'd taken a grid penalty literally on purpose to kind of block Verstappen and then just lets him through easily. So, like I say, it's Bottas doing Bottas things.
Yeah, it's not like he wiped Hamilton out in turn 1 or anything. It was more just a thing that, and we'll talk about who was at fault at it, but in my opinion, a little bit self-inflicted. I know that's going to be different to what you guys think. But yeah, it's unfortunate, but all I can imagine is Wolf saying like, you messed up, and him going, okay. And then that's kind of it. Like you said, there's not going to be anything. They're not going to dock his wages or threaten to like ban him for the next race. It's just going to be a case of you didn't hold up Verstappen, and Bottas is going, yeah, no, sorry.
And there's no need to ruffle feathers either because they need him for the next few races. It's not like,
exactly.
You're in the doghouse. Oh, wait, no, we need you for Brazil, please. So doesn't make any sense. Next question, James AFCF1. Why didn't Ricciardo get a penalty for spinning Bottas around on lap 1? That's exactly what I was asking myself too, James. I think that it was a mistake and he hit him and it deserved a penalty. I know Valtteri is, you know, there's an argument that he braked early and that somehow caused Ricciardo to lock up, which I'm not quite so sure about that so much. I mean, it's turn 1, lap 1. Some people take it a little bit easier into there, especially if you're 3 wide. You know, I'm a massive fan of Danny Rick, but I felt like he definitely deserved a penalty for that. It's not a racing incident because in my head, a racing incident is a 50-50 collision. And I don't think Valtteri was 50 at fault for that. I
am going to disagree with you in the sense that I think
I'm leaving.
Yeah, goodbye. No, I think both had a part to play in it. I think Ricciardo, like, obviously he got a mega start, shot past loads of people, started P7, ended up going into turn 1, like alongside Perez almost. And then, yeah, like you say, locked up the front right. And if you kind of do it by frame, it seems very, very slim chance that he was actually going to make that corner because he just braked too late, locked up, all this kind of stuff. But Valtteri, as you say, braked way too early, almost had Perez go up the back of him. Perez had to take almost like avoiding action to have a crash with him. And as a result, was in a place where Ricciardo then tapped the back of him. I don't think it was definitely Ricciardo's fault and definitely Bottas's fault. And I don't think it was a racing incident. So I do, on this one very rare occasion, actually agree with what the stewards did. But I know that you're both of a different opinion. So
are we both? Tommy, please come in. Save me.
Well, I'm I'm of the opinion that, again, it's like, I think it was, you have to penalize it because of what's gone on before. But the thing is, it's like, I don't understand. It all goes down to the consistency thing, where it's like, at the start of the year, they were being really lenient and then said, oh, well, it doesn't matter if, you get punted, it's the first lap. Then they gave Gasly that ridiculous penalty in Turkey
that was
where
stupid.
It was so silly, like what Ricciardo did was 100 times worse than what Gasly did. And Gasly got a 5-second penalty, so Ricciardo didn't. Yeah. So that's where I'm like, the consistency. If Gasly hadn't got that penalty and they'd been doing that on lap 1, I'd understand it more. But it's because they've given like Gasly a penalty. And then I totally understand why Mercedes were fuming, because I know there's always this argument of like, well, Ricciardo knocked his front wing off, he's ruined his race anyway. But then
it's not the consequence. Not supposed to be the consequence.
One, it's not the consequence. And two, he held up Bottas for 39 laps because of it. And Bottas, might have got a point if he hadn't have, had to spend 39 laps behind Danny Rick. So it ruined his race.
I've just watched this about 100 times whilst you've been talking, and that is absolutely ridiculous that he hasn't got a penalty. I'm sorry, but like Bottas has probably braked about 2 meters earlier than Hamilton. Yes, he's gone towards the apex, but Ricciardo is not halfway alongside, and therefore is not entitled to racing room on that inside line. At no point is he halfway alongside until he hits Bottas. So for me, Perez maybe had to take a slight bit avoiding action, but he didn't break a massive amount early. Of course, he's going to allow Hamilton the inside. And I mean, Perez nearly hits the... so I can see why Perez also thought that he hit Bottas, because my God, that was close.
Daniel Ricciardo would have not been able to leave Mexico if he'd have taken out Perez.
Yeah. no, Perez hitting Bottas, sorry. Because I can see like his front right pretty much touches Bottas, and clearly Perez thought that he'd hit Bottas round. It was Ricciardo on the inside instead. But either way, it's just being slightly cautious. I don't think that that's something that Bottas can then be given 50% of the blame for. But, I know that's open to opinion. Some people agree, some people don't. It's the beauty of social media. Some people decide to describe aggressively how they feel, and some don't, which is also great. If you're one of the don'ts, congratulations. That's how to live. Next question, unless you had anything else to add on that one.
I think so.
No. Cool. Katie, you have a differing opinion, and I accept that.
Thank you very much. It's like the Office meme of like them shaking hands. That's us right now.
That's us right now. Next question. Actually, no other questions. It's time to press the button. Oh, my voice has gone. Tommy, press the button quick. Now it's time for WTF1. I don't know why. I don't know what that sounded like.
Wasn't it almost like Arnie?
Yeah, I know. That's
very good. Accidental impression.
I'm having to bring Frank up for ABCDF1 because he keeps trying to climb on me.
Frank's opinion.
I think I heard him a little bit earlier on making some noise.
He was getting very annoyed at Katie's opinion.
Yeah, bring him in. We will actually bring him in for each grade, and we'll
yawn.
Do something.
Yawn
if it's an A.
We'll be here for hours.
Don't yawn if you agree with us. There you go. Right. Let's start with Lewis Hamilton. A.
Yeah, I don't think he could have done much more.
Kept Perez at bay. Red Bull clearly quicker.
Yep.
Second on the grid.
Taken second at the start of the weekend.
I think it's an A. Yeah, I think it's an A. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
A.
We are currently in agreement. Let's see if we can get to the next one. Valtteri Bottas. C.
I have gone for C as well.
Uh-oh. Are we about to disagree?
No, I think that's fair. I mean, he did a sensational job to get pole, but pole doesn't get you points. And then, just got held up behind Danny Rick. It's annoying because we've seen him this season, like Monza, for example, like absolute overtaking masterclass. But just this track and Danny Rick, he's like, nah, not today. It's not happening.
Yeah.
Which is so weird because it's like you've not got a championship on the line or anything. You're about to leave Mercedes, just at least go for it.
Just
even
send
if you
it,
take your front wing off. Like,
and that's what Bottas doesn't really have in his locker either, is it? Is that big 100%. Old spend?
Yeah, it's his biggest weakness, definitely.
Wait, what? I thought his defending was his biggest weakness. Tommy, we had
just
two biggest weaknesses.
His driving.
Oh, savage.
Wow.
His speed, his qualifying pace, his one lap pace is amazing, but
racecraft.
It's his racecraft. It really does let him down.
Okay, sorry, the fans gave Hamilton an A and gave Bottas a C as well, so we're all in agreement. Max Verstappen, A star.
A star.
A star.
Easiest A star. And the fans gave him an A star. Perez, A.
A.
Lovely. And the fans gave him an A as well. Lando Norris. We finished 10th, did he?
10th, yeah.
I think that's a B. It's close to an A, but
I was going more C.
Yeah, I was going lower.
Yeah.
Started last. I don't know. It just felt like the McLaren didn't really have any pace whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a C for starting last and finishing 10th. Come on.
I mean, the car's in front of him. Yeah.
The McLaren was dead this weekend. Like, bad. Danny Rick got a toe and only managed 7th in qualifying after all of that, when Gasly was like clear in 5th.
Yeah, I think actually, B is a solid result. Started 18th, made it up to B10. I think
it's got to be a B. Tommy, you happy with that? Are we going to continue the agreement?
No, he scrapes a B for me then.
Okay, that's fine then. We're still in agreement. That's fine. And the fans gave him a B as well. We're 5 from 5. Congratulations, everybody. It feels like when we get to the midfield, that's when it gets into trouble. Daniel Ricciardo, D.
Yes, because in my opinion, it was his fault and he threw away some very good points. Like they need damage limitation with how quick Ferrari are. So
and this is where Katie comes in and disagrees, surely, because if she thinks it wasn't a penalty, then
this is a bit of a difficult one. He did. There's no denying his involvement in it, even though they both had involvement in the incident, as I said, my opinion. But Ferrari have now taken that third place spot, and with Ricciardo in the top 10. This is horrible. I think, maybe a D.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. And the fans gave him a C. So the fans are out of the agreement. It's just us three now. Congratulations. Charles Leclerc. He finished P5, but he was given back the position, wasn't he, by Carlos, from what I understand, after they swap-a-rood. I think it's a B. Finished 18 seconds away from Gasly. Nothing special, but yeah, I think maybe.
Yeah,
it's got to be a B. It's got to be a B.
So yeah,
I think a B. That's fair.
Wow, look at us go. Look at us go.
I'm proud of us.
And the fans gave Leclerc a B as well. Carlos Sainz, it was better than Leclerc because he was on a better strategy. Fresher tyres came through, past Leclerc, had to give the position back. After there was, I think, a little bit of disagreement between the Ferrari drivers about swapping it. As always, they don't just swap straight away. They discuss it for a few laps. Does it equate to an A? Probably. Yes. Yes. That's
he swapped
exactly
it
what I was
back at
say.
the end, but I'm saying A anyway.
He was home and I guess, okay. A for Sainz. He's very impressive at the moment in that Ferrari.
I'm going to go with a high B. Sorry.
Why? Katie. Please reconsider.
What? Just for the sake of us all matching?
For the sake of agreement. No, it's fine. It has to be legit. If you don't think it was an A performance,
you 5 minutes ago were like, people are allowed to disagree. And they're like,
well, yeah, for the sake of this OCD that's going on right now. Come on, no, it's fine. Katie, what's your grade? A B?
A B, high B.
Oh, for God's sake. You are ejected from the podcast. The fans gave Leclerc a B as well. Not Leclerc, Sainz gave Sainz B as well. Sebastian Vettel, what a lovely little race from him in P7 in that Aston Martin. That is a solid A performance.
Yeah. Him, Kimi and Alonso all together on the track was quite cool. Didn't get to see any of it. I think there wasn't really much racing between them, but
they were close. Yeah.
They were close. Yeah, A.
Yeah, I think A is very well deserved.
Lovely stuff. And the fans gave him an A as well.
Smack the microphone.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Frank's like, either agrees or doesn't.
Lance Stroll finished 14th, 2 laps down. That's a D.
Yeah.
Crashed in qualifying as well when he didn't even need to qualify.
I'm going to give him an E. I think
him
binning it in qualifying for absolutely no reason when you've already got an engine penalty is a bit
amateur.
dumb, to be honest.
Wow, Tommy not mincing his words. Love that. Okay, fine. That's okay. We will disagree for the first time, Tommy. I'll give him a D. The fans gave him a D as well. Frank, jog on. Gasly, P4, did everything he could in that AlphaTauri. It's an A star from me.
A double star, if that even existed. Perfect.
No, wow, not even... You haven't even tried and give a double star to Verstappen. You want to give it to Gasly, though. Lovely.
Well, because Gasly was amazing in quali as well. Just absolutely perfection.
Yeah. Perfection, A stars, A star from the fans as well. Yuki Sonoda. Well, he didn't really have much of a race, did he? He had a great qualifying, got yeeted because it was about 4 wide into a car track width of about 10 meters. So it's a C.
Yeah. It's a shame he had his engine penalty inside the back because he was looking a bit better. But he just sacrificed his quali, didn't he?
Yeah, poor guy, especially with everything that he'd received this weekend from his boss. Fernando Alonso got into the points after starting quite badly after a terrible Q1 exit. It's a B from me, P9.
Yeah, B.
Yeah, he started P12. So
with all the penalties, it wasn't actually that bad,
with all the penalties. But
I found that crazy that when I saw that he had such a poor qualifying, and then he's probably about where he'd start normally anyway.
Yeah. There was some interesting calls from Alpine though, to let Esteban go through, but not Alonso, even though Esteban has the penalty. But anyway, I think. What did you say? B.
B.
I think is fair.
Okay, yeah, the fans.
I'm upset he didn't cut turn 1 though.
I know, absolute disgrace. Even when they gave, they were like, you know what, it's fine. It's fine. Up that corner. And I expected him to, but it took him a long time to get off the road. He eventually did at turn 2, I think, because he had nowhere else to go. But
there's even a point where I watched his onboard from the start, and there was obviously all the chaos going on, and all he had to do was go over the grass, and he still went round. And it's almost like he's like, you know what? I've seen all these memes. I'm not going to do it.
No. I've seen Tommy's prediction.
I'm not doing
it.
Okay, you B, and the fans gave him a B as well. Esteban Ocon, he finished P13. Bit of a rubbish weekend for him. It's a C.
Yeah.
Start at the back.
Yeah, C.
I think C.
Yep, fans gave him a C as well. Kimi Räikkönen, what a lovely little points haul for old Kimi. Should have been Antonio Giovinazzi, really, but for whatever reason, they put him on a weird strategy, which he was not happy about. I think it's an A for Kimi.
Yeah, definitely.
We're giving an Alfa Romeo higher than a C.
Because they actually got points.
Yay. Yeah, A for Kimi.
The fans gave him an A as well. Giovinazzi.
He was P6 at the start.
B because it's not his fault.
He was absolutely flying, wasn't he? He was flying
Did you hear his radio message at the end? Oh, my days.
Wasn't he something like, thanks
Sarcasm,
for those...
100%.
Sarcasm, thanks for the strategy.
What was his strategy?
Tell me you've been fired.
They pitted him and then he came out in traffic.
That was it, because everyone else
really
went
early
long,
as well.
And then he just got stuck, and it's Mexico. It was a very silly strategy to do, really, wasn't it?
He said he was happy with the timing of the pit stop, just not the fact that he came out in front of all the traffic. So
probably not the timing of the pit stop then.
The thing.
So he finished 11th in the end, but I think the strategy screwed him over a bit. I think it's a B,
Yeah, B. His third consecutive 11th place.
Which
is a bit of a kick to the nuts. Yeah, I know.
And to be fair, if that goes a bit better, Alfa Romeo could be challenging Williams for that next spot, couldn't they, really? But instead, they're not managing to utilise good opportunities. So Giovinazzi got a C from the fans. George Russell, he was up to 9th, wasn't he? And then just fell away because that Williams is absolutely awful around Mexico, which no surprise, because you actually have to change the car setup from its original design. And so that's a C for George.
Yeah, C.
C for George.
And a C for Latifi as well. They
didn't have any drink either.
No drink.
Didn't have any drink. No drink. Apparently.
No drink. No drink at all. Wasn't it that he detached it himself or something, you said, Katie? Or
I think during the safety car, he was trying to move something and then just undid the thing that goes to it, the little pipe. Yeah.
That's a bit silly.
Yeah, amateur mistake, D.
F.
So C's for both of the Williamses. They both finished 2 laps down.
Did Latifi tag the back of Ocon at the start as well? Or am I imagining things?
A lot of things happened at turn 1.
It did a lot. But I feel like... I don't know if I want to give Latifi and George the same. I'll just do C. You can tell this week I haven't thought of it beforehand. Yeah.
I'm C for both.
It's fine. Right, they're on the same lap. Well done, Latifi. The fans gave him a C as well. Nikita Mazepin. I mean, he was up to 11th? 11th at the start, and I think I genuinely was very shocked. He ended up 3 laps down. I mean, that's just Mazepin things. That. So it's got to be a D. I mean, how can you be 11th and finish 3 laps down? That's just...
Does he drive a house?
Preposterous. But he was actually holding his own for a while. And then next thing you know, you blinked and he was down in 18th, which was the last
It just seems
runner.
to happen with them, doesn't it? I don't really get how, like say, he's up there and you think, oh, well, at least, he might finish on the back of the Williams. And then...
I think if Mick Schumacher's in that position, he's definitely at the very least 2 laps down and probably in Lance Stroll Bottas territory. So it's a D from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And the fans gave him an F. Shock.
Really?
And Mick Schumacher, his rear wheel went flying when Ocon double killed the rookies. He had a reasonable start.
He was Mick Schumacher in a Haas.
C. And the fans gave him a C. Lovely stuff. Predictions for the Mexico Grand Prix. I went for Perez team orders. I don't even remember that. It's a long time ago, that. Did he get any team orders? I reckon.
Try and wing this.
I reckon Verstappen did say something about Perez, maybe. Was it the other way around? No, Perez was ordering the team. Listen to this.
This was
Max.
To
slow Lewis down 0.5 point.
Our survey says
not really much was made of that, was it? That Sergio Perez telling Max to back Lewis up. I was like,
come on, chat.
You've really misjudged the situation here.
Live team WTF1 members watching the podcast right now. Perez team orders is all I wrote. Did he or did he not order the team as Sergio Perez to use Max Verstappen? That's 0.5 point.
Is he getting 0.5 point? Half a point late.
And Sonoda scores points again.
No.
Well,
I aged poorly.
Top 10, wasn't he? And anyway, no points for me, unfortunately. Tommy.
I went for more track limit drama from Alonso now. Yes, he didn't cut the corner, but on Thursday, he demanded a meeting with everyone, didn't he, about track limits? So I'm calling that track limit drama.
No, jog on. I've said 0 points for Perez team orders, so I think that's 0 points.
I mean, that's track limit drama.
All the chat going, no points, no points.
Yeah, that's for Tommy, not me, or whatever.
And Perez first pole, no.
Lovely. Katie.
I went for Gasly top 5. So nice point. Nice. And then Ferrari podium, which didn't happen.
Technically, Ferrari sponsors the podium as that champagne, and it was a Ferrari. If I see, look,
you can have your point.
Yeah, I was going to say that is actually.
Should we give half a point to all of us, and then it's redundant anyway? So,
no, I think we just. I mean, to be fair, Katie's one is probably the best in terms of that is legitimately what happened. It was a Ferrari podium, but anyway,
mine's legitimate. He had track limit drama.
Oh, come on! What? Yeah, how do you
water is wet?
No. Yeah, right. The fans, Ace 12, Adam, both Ferraris on the podium. No. Stormboy 172, Russell top 5 in quali. No. Why would Stormboy?
That is the most ambitious prediction.
And Frontriandini, DNF for one of the Red Bulls. No. So out of all of that, we scored 1 point. Lovely. We are so bad. Predictions for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Sprint race will be dull.
Oh, for God's sake.
Mainly because I think that there'll be no element of strategy. It may well be dry. Hoping to jinx it. I'll happily take the 0 points if it's a banger, but I think it'll be dull. And the second one, Verstappen goes more than 25 points clear.
Nice.
Tommy.
Just seeing a couple of points for Tommy in the chat, just saying.
Your burner account.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy WTF1 too.
Yeah. What have I gone for? Action-packed sprint race.
I love how you've gone the
you've got opposites.
and surprise podium finisher.
Okay, we need a terms and conditions booklet out for this one. Surprise podium finisher would mean someone that's not been on the podium this year, which is two people.
No.
It's
not. It's basically not
two people that can.
one of the Mercedes.
Like a Gasly or something.
Yeah.
Okay,
I reckon.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is this the race podium or is this the sprint?
Speed King podium.
Race podium.
No,
race
sprint
podium.
race, quali podium. Yeah, cool. Katie.
I've gone for both Alfa Romeos into Q2 and Red Bull take Constructors Championship lead.
Red Bull take Constructors. So you know that Red Bull's got a strong car going to Brazil. They need to outscore Mercedes by 2 points. And you come in with that kind of prediction. I can tell that you're getting towards the end of the season and you're like, right, I need to pick up as many points as possible here. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not stupid.
What an absolute disgrace.
Give me all the points.
Unreal. We'll be taking that to VAR if you end up winning by 1 point. Fans, Rock Vishal 1996 Ferrari extend their lead in the Constructors' Championship. Chateau Mouviard, Ricciardo and Norris crash together. And Kieran is boring a non-Red Bull or Mercedes win. Well. If one of them, if it's the Ferrari one, maybe a bit boring. If there's 2 points for the fans, then we've got a spicy race on the way. There we go then, everybody. That is the end of the WTF1 podcast for the Mexico City Grand Prix. Katie, final thoughts?
Oh, I knew
yes.
you that.
Absolutely. You were bouncing along.
I was in my own little world. Oh, that's so cruel. Well, my final thoughts, I'm going to nick off somebody in the Team WTF1 chat. Formula One, Derland said Max and Lewis to crash. It's a sprint weekend, which is following the traditions of Monza and Silverstone. Actually. So I'm going to take your final thought. I'm really sorry. Please don't sue.
Suing will happen. Tommy.
Mine is that the Brazilian Grand Prix is of all the races we didn't go to last year, and I'm probably missing one, but as far as I can think of, that is the one I missed the most, and I'm very glad we're going back to. So I'm hoping it's a banger because it is Interlagos, and it normally is. What
about Monaco? We didn't go there last year. And Monaco. You can have those two.
No, nothing. Tommy's
no.
Just silence. Yeah, I know we didn't go to Monaco. I'm not saying anything. Okay, thank you for that final thought, Tommy. It was actually a little bit more extensive than what you usually come out with, rather than just, look at Frank.
Oh, look at Frank. Look at you.
What's your final thought, Frank? Good. Yawn if Max Verstappen wins. We're doing it in the actual podcast now. This is incredible.
Wow.
Yawn if Lewis Hamilton wins. Yawn if a non-Mercedes or Red Bull wins. There you go. He yawns a lot, doesn't he? Right. And my final thought is, yes, I'm similar to you, Tommy. I cannot wait to see Brazil back. It's going to be amazing to watch Interlagos. I love it so much. I wish it was the finale. It's not. I'm also glad it's not the finale. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a particularly close battle between Verstappen and Hamilton going into the last race. So can't wait. It's going to be great. Whether sprint qualifying will actually make it better or worse is yet to be seen, but we will see. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please check out the WTF1 annual that we have launched very recently. Katie is absolutely slaving away at getting that ready for you guys to send out.
WTF1 author.
Yeah, the WTF1 author and the WTF1 founder and the WTF1 dog, all here in
That's no way to talk about yourself, Matt.
Good one, Katie. Enjoyed that. Thank you to the Team WTF1 members as well for watching the live podcast version of this. It's you get some great behind the scenes content of us not being able to set things up. So if you want to join Team WTF1, go check that out as well. I'm going to stop talking now. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye, Frank. Bye, Frank. Wave. Get him to wave. There we go. He yawns all the time. Bye.
Bye.